Are we here?
Says we're live.
We're live?
Let me hook up Instagram.
We're here. We don't have Tony today, so Josh is doing all the technical stuff. So I get to talk by myself for a minute.
Nobody to blame if we'll just blame the weather.
That's right. It's probably the weather. So we're here to entertain you today while you're hunkering down and staying out of the weather.
That's right. We're risking our lives to be here for you folks.
That's right.
In this drizzle. Oh, you do have to entertain him. I got to grab the sticky note.
Okay. So Josh is going to get his notes about what he's talking about today. And while he's doing that, I hope you're staying safe. I know that the weather, they've told us that we should stay inside and not go anywhere and all that sort of stuff. But in spite of that, Josh and I are here.
That's right. Oh, I see some of the shops are closing today. I just jumped on Facebook. So we toyed with the idea. I did tell the ladies, Marie and Tamara, not to come in. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling most of you, and it's smart, we're joking around, but it's smart to be safe. Mm-hmm. So there is a very good chance that I will probably be closing early.
Right.
All right. Let me find us on here to make sure I did this right. Maria, good morning. All right. Looks like I did it right. Somebody says hello. Where are we at? There we are now.
We're here, ready to go.
And we can hear ourselves.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So just let us know if things aren't working on your end, but from our point of view, it looks good.
Yeah. Good morning, Janice. Let's see. Don't close. I'll be there in a little while. No, I won't close that early. Maria says she loves the quilts in the back. Is that not stunning? Oh, you mean mine? Is that what you...
Thank you for whatever.
It's Maria. I know what she likes. Let's see. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Angelina from Omaha. I like that, Angelina. I think you just stopped saying that. Like we know who you are now. So good morning. Staying home today. Yeah. I saw Anita said she was staying home. Louise is staying home. Good morning, Martha. A handful of people are staying home, and honestly, I don't blame you. Even though it's not real scary right now, you never know. It's Florida. That
it could change. And I was noticing the wind was kind of, as I was driving in, the wind was kicking up. And actually, I'm a little more nervous about wind than I am about the rain. But
I am as well. Yeah, and the Weather Channel says, that's 50-50.
That's right. And they say it a lot, whatever it is.
That's right.
They just don't want to stop talking.
Exactly. Good morning, Deanna. That's right, Martha. Rainy. So, all right. Somebody already beat me to it. I saw you hit the little hearts. We appreciate that. The thumbs up and the hearts and share with a friend. It does wonders for us, and we love it.
Good job.
You guys are so supportive. It's fantastic. Oh, Angelina said, good morning, everyone from Omaha. I love it. You did it anyway. Been without power for 3 days. Oh, my gosh.
Where are they?
Omaha.
Really? You're not part of the hurricane. I'm sorry. And is it still cold? Is it cold there? No, it's summertime. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know, right. If it's not in Florida, we assume it's cold year round everywhere. Good morning, Carol. Angelina, what's going on up there? I don't know, and I barely follow the weather here, so forgive me if it's something major. It sounds like it is if you're out without power for 3 days.
Yeah. Oof. Sorry about that. That's awful.
Yeah. Good morning, Debbie.
Do you have a generator? Or is...
let's see. Good morning, Carol. All right. Good morning, Linda. All right. People are jumping on. We should have a packed house today because everybody's sitting at home.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. And good morning, Mom and Cindy. Good morning to you. Always love to check in. Thanks, Ma. I love seeing you on here. Jill Spirit Wind is my mom, in case she makes any comments that are strange.
Spirit Wind. No one. Now I'm beginning to learn more about you.
Yeah. Yeah, it says a lot, right? It does. Did you meet her when she was here shortly? Okay. Well, hopefully sooner than later. Good morning, Irene. Hey, Tony. Howdy, she says. Good morning, Tammy. Tamara. Sorry, I know, Tamara, you've been gone and your first day back, and I tell you not to come in. Sorry.
Another day off.
I have a feeling I'm going to be able to handle the rush of people today. So, and truthfully, we're going to get the show going because there's a bunch of you here. So, but truthfully, we will probably close early. More than anything, because I doubt anybody's going to come in, and I don't want to sit here and twiddle my thumbs. Also, if it gets a little nasty, I'd like to be with my family.
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah. Morning, Betsy. Be safe. Absolutely, Linda. We love coming on. Enjoying my cup of tea. Fantastic, Cindy. That sounds nice. I've got my cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I like tea as well. We brought home one of Shan's uncles, I believe, gave me some really good Chinese tea.
Oh, really?
It's phenomenal. It's so good. Yeah. And I don't add anything to it. It just tastes healthy. And I don't know. It tastes like history. It's great. Anyway, sorry. It's a great day to stay in and work on some of those projects we haven't finished, or maybe start a new one. Yep, absolutely. Speaking of which, I think I'll start with that. People's Choice Award. Well, I don't know. I think it went for 2 weeks when it was only scheduled for one. We had our big semi-annual sale going on, and then the Olympics started. So we did our Cut Up and Sew Olympics, and we had 3 events. One was the new owners, which we got 3 medalists, and they were going to be here today, but honestly, I wasn't going to ask them to come in on this. So this gives us time to prepare even a more fun ceremony with more medals. Also, the Fabric Fanatic. So we're going to have to tally up some spending that you guys did and give some medals for that. And then we have the People's Choice Awards. People's Choice event, which was all last week. And so you guys had been posting your events in the Cut Up and Sew crew, the group. And now Tony, I think she said by this afternoon, I think she said by noon actually, but let's just say today, is going to post a poll with the images
of
all the quilts, and not just quilts, projects and things that people submitted. And then you guys, we get to vote, which will be fun. So I think that's this week's plan is, Tony, and you can in the comments let us know how long that poll is going to run for. But I think the idea was through the Olympics this week, and then maybe on Monday next week we'll have our ceremony or something like that.
Oh,
so
very fun. I think that's such a great idea. Did Tony come up with that?
Yeah, I think the Olympic thing spawned because we were having our semi sale, and then somebody posted, you should do an Olympic sale. And I was like, oh, well, that sounds pretty fun. And then Maria suggested this one thing. And then at 9 o'clock before we opened the next, 9 p.m., I was like, Maria, Tony, what could we do for? So it was kind of, everybody brainstormed. Okay, yes, through Saturday. So you'll be able to vote through Saturday. And she says it should be posted soon, which is great. Thank you, Tony. And thank you to everybody that put it in. I saw some amazing things. I know what you guys make. I mean, the stuff that you all produce is beautiful. It's wonderful. It's creative, which we're going to talk about today. So let me just get through a few things. Oh, I didn't bring them over here, but that's all right. We have the Jacksonville Quilt Fest Quilt Show tickets on sale. You guys know that by now because I've told you a bazillion times, and I'm going to keep telling you because honestly, you want to get them early to skip the line, save $1. I think it's $1 or something. But more importantly, to save the line, and also, and let me clarify, I don't believe you have to purchase a ticket early in order to get free parking. I think parking is just free. I was kind of just talking about all the exciting things and the ways that they've tried to improve this year's show. One of them is free parking, but also if you get the tickets early, you skip the line, which is a big deal. There's more vendors this year. There's a new category. I think it's the art quilt category because the Modern Quilt Guild joined, I think, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a great show. I hope you guys can come. And it's September 19th, 20th, and 21st.
So I don't know about you, but I always make a list of things that I'm looking for while I'm there, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And of course, we're taking the Arrow and Kangaroo furniture. So if anybody's looking for a deal on furniture, you guys know the quilt shows are probably the best place to go to get that. So come see us. We're also taking Caterpillar this year, which is kind of new, which is cool. AccuQuilt. And then we've got some stuff planned for our booth. We're going to have some really cool kits and project ideas and demos. And we're going to switch it up a little bit. Yeah, because we do it so often that not to be repetitive.
That's right.
Yeah.
Be fresh every
That's
year.
right. Mastering IQ. If you have a machine, I won't give you the list, but if your machine has IQ Designer on it, there is one spot left and you can sign up for that Mastering IQ Designer class. And that's this week. and there's only one spot left. So just I wanted to put that out there. We'd love to have we did have a full house, but life happens and someone had to
What day is that?
cancel. Oh boy, I was afraid. Tony. Good morning, Jody. Good morning, Char. Let's see. I think it's Thursday. Tony, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Thursday. It's this week. It could be Wednesday actually, but mastering IQ design. So
and what do you need to know to be able to take that class? I mean, IQ design to me is something that's a little advanced. Do you what
right. So your machine has it, for example. If you just got your machine and you don't know how to navigate your machine and embroider, just general, like you can work your machine, IQ is not the right class. Don't dive in head first on this one because you will feel overwhelmed and it'll hold up other people, and also you'll feel left behind. It's just you're not ready, because IQ, you have to really wrap your head around it, and it's hands-on, and it's not that it's hard, it's just it's a lot of info, and you have to be really good about bouncing from screen to screen and navigating your machine. Okay. So more than anything, just know your machine really well.
So are you going to do a basic class for people who have gotten a machine and they
for embroidery?
They want to get to the point where they feel comfortable doing an IQ design?
Yeah, so we actually had something called Hoop School, and we will bring that back around, and that's exactly what that was, like embroidery 101. Okay. And it doesn't matter what machine you have. Also, especially if you purchased a new machine recently from us, you get that free education. So take us up on it. Call us, schedule a time where we'll sit down with you, whether it's one-on-one or two-on-one if the machines are the same. We want you to play with your machines. So we offer that support. Our classes are scheduled so full that it's hard to get as many one-on-one classes as we'd like, to be honest with you. But again, everybody learns at a different speed and pace and with different machines. Sometimes it's better to do a one-on-one. And we offered, even if you didn't buy your machine from us, we offer one-on-one education. It's a paid class, but I mean, I'm totally here for you. I sold 5 brands, so the chances are I can help you with your embroidery machine. Okay. I really learned a lot in my last job. All right, let's see. I'm seeing a bunch of people saying stuff. Let's see. Good morning. Shark says, only a drizzle pouring here. Lost transmission. Uh-oh. Good morning, Jody from Wisconsin. Good morning, Deborah. Wednesday and Thursday. So it's a Mastering IQ retreat, technically. It's 2 days. So you would leave your machine here, Wednesday and Thursday. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Marilyn. Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Jareen, Nina, Pat, Kathy. All right. So let's see here. Also on the list, and I know we talk about these on our study hall, but these are ones that I just wanted to remind you guys about. So there's one spot left of the Mastering IQ retreat. The Fiber Play Club is the 8th.
That's this week.
Probably should have wrote that down.
Yeah.
Is the 8th. And just a reminder, those of you that came last week, make sure you bring your
is it every week?
Postcard. No, it's monthly.
Okay.
It's every month. It's from 5 to 7 p.m. So no excuses. If you work, you can still come and play with us. But this club meeting, we're doing flower pounding. So we're literally pounding flowers, beating the heck out of some flowers to make cool flower prints, I think. Oh, cool. I've never done it. I think I understand the idea, but basically the supply list is like, bring a hammer, I think a cutting board, or I don't know.
Do you use your regular hammer or more of a mallet sort of thing?
I think Karen said a mallet or a hammer.
Okay.
So, and we're doing it on our table, so I like the idea of a mallet personally.
It made sense to me.
But a cutting board, I would think, because we're putting the flowers on it. Yeah. Okay. So on our calendar, it's Thursday at 5. Thank you, Cindy. Fiber Play Thursday, August 8th. Yeah, August the 8th. Yeah, I was right. Cool. On cutupandsew.com, if you go to the calendar, you can just register for it. But there's also a supply list. Good. And please register. Lets us know who's coming. Lets Karen know how many people, because she's kind of leading the charge on this one. She's done it before. But it's we're going to play. That's the whole point. Learn something new, play with fiber, play with flowers and hammers. And yeah. And then our costuming club is this Saturday, I believe. Today's Monday. So this Saturday. And I'm talking about that mainly because you do need to register for this one. It's a workshop. We only have 12 spots because there's 12 kits, and we're making medieval torches, LED torches.
Oh, wow.
How fun is that?
Oh, wow.
I know, it's cool. It's going to be fun. So anyway, if you have questions, feel free to call us, but go to cutupandsew.com. You can see most of the information and get most of your questions answered that way, but we're totally here for you.
Awesome.
All right. Join the Cut Up and Sew Facebook group for more info. Thank you, Cindy. Absolutely. So we have our Cut Up and Sew page, but then we have the Cut Up and Sew crew Facebook group, which is basically the group for the shop, all things. And then we have like a Cut Up and Sew Saturday clubs group, because we have 7. I don't think we have 8 now. Tony will correct me if I'm wrong. 7-ish clubs. That's a lot. So there's a lot of things, and there's a club for each.
So each club has a Facebook page.
I don't know if they all do, but a lot of them do. Like the Die Hard Club, the Serger Club, the Embroidery, the Hump Day Hoopers do. So there's a lot of information, but if you type in Cut Up and Sew, and then you go to our page, you can go to groups, and it's pretty easy to find. If you have, if you're confused and you have troubles, feel free to come in, grab your phone, and we'll figure it out together. Okay. We have Facebook groups for each clubs. Okay, so yeah. Shar says she keeps losing us. Are you guys losing us, or is it Shar's fault? I haven't been looking at the screen, but I think we're good. Char, I think it's on your end. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are we frozen?
It doesn't look like it.
I don't think so. Yeah. Okay. Good morning, Becky. Okay. So that was it for my little thing, because honestly, I didn't know if we'd even have Wi-Fi, but you told me what we were going to talk about, and I was like, I want to talk about that. So yeah, if you guys have questions, and I'll leave room at the end as well. So if you have questions or anything, we'll try to make sure we get those answered. Okay, cool. Looks like it seems fine. Good. Then we'll keep rocking and rolling.
Okay. Good.
So you typed, I think, one word, and I got excited. So what are we talking about today, Joann?
Well, today we're talking about creativity, and this started because of a couple of different things. One, I went to the show, the modern, I don't know what that was called, the art show that was down at the real estate agent.
Fiber Art Show.
And that was just, it was amazing to me, and just made me think in a whole different pathway. And that was the first thing. And then Josh always does the live to create thing, and I do something afterwards. And I was trying to come up with some good things to say as far as creativity goes, because it's live to create. And then I wanted to tag on to that. So I looked at, of course, Pinterest, and found a variety of different things on creativity. And so I started thinking about creativity and what it means, and what, how we develop that. And one of the things that happened to me personally is, as a child, I went to a Catholic school, and we learned that in the beginning, God created the world. The first verse in the Bible, God created the world. And we were taught that God created out of nothing. And so to me, that meant from then on that in order to be creative, I had to be able to create something that was totally mine, that was not based on anything else. It just came
original.
It was just totally original. But that's not true. And that has plagued me my whole life, and kind of kept me from feeling like I was creative. But the reality is that most of what you create is based on something that somebody else has created. So there's a saying that goes, steal like an artist. And so what it means is that you take what somebody else has done and you make it your own. You change, and you just say, okay, that's a good idea. And so I think I'll go from there. And so this quilt here this is Josh's side, and this is my side.
I wonder if they could have figured that one out.
He probably couldn't tell. And I love this. I love the creativity there, but I'm not that creative.
Yes, you are. But anyway.
So anyway, This is a quilt that This is my design. It's won a couple of prizes, which I'm really kind of proud of. It was in a magazine. And what happened was a class I was teaching wanted to make a quilt using ombre fabrics. And so I kind of had to think up an idea of how to a design we could use with ombre fabrics. And so this is basically a log cabin design with the little triangles on the edge. And that's a pretty traditional design. And what I did is I took the star and put it in the middle and put this together as a basic design of mine. And so you can see how it has a very traditional look to it. And it's obviously something that I did not come up with on my own, but it is still my pattern, and it is still a design that originated with me.
You took things that existed and you grew them. You kind of tweaked them, made their own. Copying is a form of flattery, right? In fact, we talked about this. I feel like on here, somebody says, "Why don't you design your own fabric?" And I said, I've tried, and it was really hard for me because everything that I did, I felt looked like somebody else's something. And it's subconscious. Like, we're inspired. That stuff stays there. And same, songwriters. In fact, my mom and I talked about this. You'll make a melody like, "Oh, I love that," and you'll play a song that sounds exactly like that song. But it's not intentional, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah,
it is very hard to invent something that doesn't exist. It's pretty much impossible at this point.
And I think to be creative, you have to give yourself permission to fail.
Absolutely.
And you have to give your permission to start somewhere. And it's when you start and you keep on working at it that you develop that creativity. Like, if you kept working at, coming up with a fabric that you thought was that really had something different to offer, it might take a while to develop that tradition, that ability.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a total skill in making a cohesive line. But what I did learn, and just even you're saying this, it totally resonates with me. Don't be afraid. Like, if you like it, you've put some of yourself in it. So other people aren't going to see what you see. Even though you think it looks too much like this or whatever, maybe they don't see that. You know what I mean? And by the way, everyone, and I agree with every one of you, they say it's stunning, beautiful, it's special. They absolutely love this. And I agree. I think you took something like you're calling like a basic log cabin. This is anything but basic. This is gorgeous.
Oh, well, thank you.
It is.
Thank you. Obviously, the magazine writers. I was actually the centerfold in the magazine with this.
Fantastic.
Just thought you should know that.
I should know that.
My only centerfold ever. But I
so far.
Yeah, forever. But creativity is something that we tend to say, and I say it all the time, I'm not a very creative person. I could never do this. What Josh has done here, and he has a way of just being really very free form and just taking material and playing with it. And I have never been able to do that. I am very methodical and just want everything to be very precise, whereas Josh has this really free form attitude about it, and I love it, and I would like to be more that way.
Well, thank you. But I want a little bit of what you know what I mean, what you do, because I can't. I just don't have the patience. I don't have the self-discipline. Also, I don't enjoy that as much. I'll just show this because it happens to deal with what we're talking about. Because people ask me, what is it? How did you do it? What technique is that? I'll just show this up front in case you haven't seen this in person. Like this is open. So the reason I'm showing this is actually because it makes sense for this conversation. I loved the process of it. So for me, it was a creative, I was playing, it was fun. But somebody, and we talked about it, said, okay, is this applique? Is this collage quilting? And I go, I'm not real sure. Yes.
Yeah.
And so even when we went to the guild, you said someone asked that question.
And I ignored it.
Yeah. And then I guess if you get technical, I guess there are little differences. But for me, I've never cared. enough to go, this is what it is. That's why I couldn't teach a class, because someone would, like you, would go, well, I need to know so that I can so that I can put it in my notes and be like, this is this process, this is this technique. And I'm like, I can't do that. And so some people, like you said, oh, that's great, I can't do it. Well, you may not enjoy it, is the difference.
And that probably is true. And I think I wrote down several quotes by a variety of different artists. And one of them was, it actually pertained to what you just said. And I don't know what it is now. But
well, not to throw you completely off, but
being able to say, when you say can't, that is one of the biggest things that keeps you from being creative. When you say, oh, I can't do that, I have to think about that. I have to tell myself that it's when I say I can't do it that I can't do it. And when I say, well, let's give this a try, let's figure out where to go.
Right.
And, start realizing that it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be exactly what I want, but it'll be a beginning. That's where the creativity starts.
Well, absolutely. And, I've seen people and I've shown them, this is the one that usually, because this one you can tell is a little bit kind of messy and it's intentional. Well, then I showed them this one and it looks a little bit more kind of neat and clean. And so people will start looking at the quilting in it. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? Like, I didn't want that applique flower to be perfect. Like, that wasn't the goal. That wasn't fun for me. Where other people go, no, I need that symmetry. And so when people say, oh, I can't do this. Well, hold on. You can, because it's not really a skill technically. Like, you could do this with your sewing machine, but you may not enjoy the way I did it. So yeah, you're right. Can't is a dangerous word.
It is. And my husband taught math. And he said girls especially were ones that would come in and say, I can't do math. And he would just look at them and say, can't never could do anything.
I like that.
And I think he was so right about that. And
I agree. Just to back way up, Tony did say, ooh la la, centerfold. But let's see. I can't believe it's log cabin beginnings. It's beautiful. That's fantastic. She said this. Both of you should put these in quilt vest.
Well, maybe someday when it's done.
This was, by the way, putting out all the feelers. Joann needs this fabric right here. So if anybody's got some in the stash,
that's right. It would be an older fabric, and it's not a bright color. It's an olivey color.
An olivey color. You're right, Linda. It's a little bit of everything. Free form. That's a good way to look at it. It is total abstract. And my brain, I don't have a plan. That's why a lot of these quilts, I'm in awe that you guys start and you finish it. Those of you that finished them. I get it.
I'm not in this category.
You finished a lot of quilts, to be fair. Well, you've got an excuse. You can't find the fabric.
That's right.
But yeah, so, I don't have that kind of discipline. So I just kind of play and I'll pick one up and play, you know what I mean? So,
but I think that's great. And
yeah.
I think creativity takes a certain amount of courage. I want to show you one other quilt. And this is a quilt from one of my classes. This is Carol's quilt. And this was a class I taught last November, December. And it was supposed to be a mystery quilt, a row mystery quilt for Christmas. And I don't know why, but for some reason the class did not finish. But Carol persevered. And what the way it was done is each week I would bring in a block and for the class to make, and we would make the block in the class. And if they wanted to make more, they could, and if not, we'd just move on to the next week. So this is so she persevered and actually finished the quilt. So here it is. And so these are, this is all taking the.
Here, let me see if I can make it go a little bit higher.
Okay. This is all taking the blocks that I brought in. So I brought in the truck blocks, and there is a at the bottom, there are presents along the bottom. And
this is so cute.
And then the houses. And she took that and she finished it. Well, this is totally her design, her pattern. And she just did a great job of it. And I was so proud of her for finishing it. And I think that if you ask Carol, She would never tell you that she's a creative person or that she could, she would do something like this. But I think that this is one of the most creative things. And I'll tell you, I remember one other student that I had. She was the sort of person that she would come into the shop and she'd see a quilt that she liked, and she would buy that pattern and she would buy the fabric so that the fabric completely matched what was on the quilt that she saw. And that's all she would do. She would never veer from the pattern, and she would never veer from the fabrics. And she, and it was, for a long time, that's the way she was. She had to stop taking the class because her mother was sick. And she came in about 6 months later, and she brought a quilt that she'd been working on while her mother was sick. And it was completely her own idea. And I just felt like I was so proud of her and so excited for her, because it was like her soul finally came out in this quilt.
It was special.
It was special. And it was special for me to know that I had a small part in that happening. But
absolutely.
It was just a delight.
That's so amazing. I mean, I love that. I love that you shared that. Not to, I see a handful of comments and questions. So first of all, hello, Quilter Mercedes, and hello in Rhode Island, Nancy. Let's see, Joann,
Rhode Island.
Bring some Friday. I have lots of old fabric, says Sam.
Oh, okay.
You need to put up a banner with that saying and add be creative.
Which saying?
Louise, I'm not 100% sure, but you can let us know. Angelina, this is the one I didn't want to skip over. You said, can you show the fabric up close? Which fabric?
The green?
Are you talking about this one here?
Mm-hmm.
You know what we'll do for her? I'll actually take a photo of it, and we'll post it on there. Okay. We'll find that fabric for you.
Okay, that'd be awesome. Then I'll have to finish it.
Exactly. Overwhelmingly, people love this quilt, and I get it, and they want to see it finished.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, awesome. Angelina, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. I love the Mr. Quilt. Want the pattern? And Carol is a great baker. You're right. And Angela, so she was talking about this fabric. So we'll take a close up for her. Sure.
So,
hey, Judy.
So one of the things Josh and I were talking about earlier was how do you start in a more creative place? Like if you're one of those people that likes to keep everything, when you come in to buy fabric, you're kind of, you see a line of fabric you buy, and that's what you buy. And, you see the tulle fabric and you say, okay, I'm getting tulle fabric. I'm buying a tulle fabric. Or you see another line that is, and don't get me wrong, the fabric designers do an awesome job of doing beautiful lines of fabric. And it's so easy to just really stay within that line. But if you're one of those people and you want to start, kind of letting your soul come out in your project. And a couple of things you can do is kind of think of, we all have our box that we live in, and you've all heard the phrase, think outside the box. And so one of the things that you can do is you can think of your quilt as a box. And the box has all kinds of things in it. It has your pattern, and the pattern has all sorts of different shapes and design and things going on in it. And it has different fabrics, and it has the pattern and the threads and all that sort of stuff. And you take one of those things out of the box, and maybe your quilt has squares in it, and it's just a quilt of a bunch of squares. And, like 3-yard quilts are a perfect example. They have all the big shapes in them. So you take one of those shapes and you do something different with it. Maybe if you have an embroidery machine, you embroider something in that box. Or maybe if you have some leftover blocks from another quilt, you take those blocks and put them in that square and use that for some of your squares instead of just using the plain squares. Or maybe you're kind of fascinated with this idea of the crumb quilting, where you have bits and pieces of leftover fabric, and you kind of fragment a block, and you just use all sorts of little pieces of fabric in there, and you make a couple of blocks out of that and put that in there, making it look a little bit different. So, but you take one thing from your quilt box and you do it differently. Just one. Maybe it's just Another thing that I always encourage people, if they're looking at a line of fabric and they're thinking, oh, I'm going to buy this line of fabric because I love it. God knows I've done the same thing. But buy one fabric that's out of the line that goes with it, and make sure that works in. You can. There's plenty of fabrics out there that you can kind of blend in with the other things, and you just kind of take, once again, you're taking that one thing and you're making it different. The more you use kind of creative processes, the more you have, and it just kind of it builds on itself.
Yeah, and the less you feel, you're not afraid to keep trying new things.
Right.
You kind of go, you know what, that didn't hurt.
That's
kind of good.
And in some cases you have to be willing to, it's not going to, maybe it won't work, but maybe it will.
Absolutely. And if it doesn't, then you learn from it.
Exactly.
It's always a learning process. I tell people all the time when they're looking at fabrics, I'm like, those three, like you said, were meant to go together. But think about this, your quilt, even though it'll be your quilt, could look like a lot of other people's quilts because those were intended to go together. So if you want to truly have like a little bit of a unique quilt, do what Joann says. Just find one other fabric line and mix it in with it. Because then the chances are someone else picking the chances of someone else picking the exact same thing are so slim that you actually now have a one of a kind.
Yeah, that's true.
It makes it unique.
And if you really look at the quilt magazines, there's so many of the quilts that are in those magazines, the reason they're in there is because of the colors, the fabrics that they've used. The designs are no different than, you find that design in any book.
It's the fabric that works together. Yeah. Absolutely. Denise said, and by the way, good morning, Linda. It doesn't matter. You're never late. For children quilts, I like to add pre-printed panels. Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Joy. And Linda says, being creative means getting out of your comfort zone. And she has this year. And I agree. And Linda, you've talked about it. It's wonderful. I love it when you tell me that.
It is wonderful. And it takes, Linda, did you find that it took a certain amount of courage to do that? Being creative involves a certain degree of courage, in order to step outside that box, in order to draw outside the lines.
And we've talked about this. That's why the kids' classes are so cool, because they have no fear. They're like,
it's very true.
Let's go. They're not worried about failure. We're playing.
We're playing. That's right. There's a quote by Picasso that goes, every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up. And I think that's really true.
That's cool.
We become very, we find our box and we stay in it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, you can't, someone looks at something else. Art is subjective. So someone may look at this and go, I don't get it. My wife looks at some of this stuff. She goes, it's pretty. What is it? Because she says in her words, I'm not saying it, she's like, I don't really get art. I'm like, yeah, but you're not supposed to get it. Like, what does it make you feel?
Exactly.
What did that one do to you? If you were like, blah, okay, cool. Then you don't like that kind of art. You know what I mean? So you don't have to figure it out. That's not the point of any of this. And then someone may look at this and go, oh yeah, I'm inspired. You know what I mean? So we're all different.
Yes.
So
we all are attracted to different things, and different things, but the one thing that you want is to involve some sort of emotion with what you're doing.
Yep. This is supposed to be fun.
That's right.
Remember?
Right. Absolutely.
Awesome. Anything else on your list over there? This was I could have this conversation for hours. And it looks like you guys too. I absolutely love it. But fun learning new techniques and products. Absolutely. Good morning, Teresa. Okay, well, while you're looking that over, and I realize that I'm the only person here, just in case people do show up, I should probably kind of wrap up. Do you guys did we skip over anything? Did this inspire any thoughts, questions? Even if it's not related to this, do you guys have any questions? Quilt tickets, quilt shows, closing, opening? What you got?
I've got no questions.
You got no questions? Because you have all the answers.
Oh, yeah. I only wish.
Good morning, Wendy.
Okay, so the last thing I have is it isn't about being the best because you tap into the creative flow. The best doesn't exist. It's about experiencing the magic. It's about being in the place where your heart is free. How pretty.
I like that. Do you have a favorite artist? Doesn't have to be a quilter. Just do you have a favorite artist?
You know, I'm really attracted to, amazingly enough, some of the more modern painters like Klimt.
Cool.
And I enjoy looking at that art and just a lot of the older painters, they're beautiful work. There's no doubt about it. But the modern painters, there's something about them that, once again, the freedom of just drawing outside.
It challenges you. You're like, wow, you know, how did their brain come up with that?
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. I'm like, oh, and it taps into something, and then I start. That's why I loved the fiber, the art show, because I was like, oh.
Wow.
I don't even know what that is, but that looks fun. Like, I don't know what the material, I was like, I don't know what that, so I learned a lot, but also just got the wheels turning, which was really cool.
That's right. Those are the things that draw me in and make me think, as opposed to the masters or some of the more traditional artists.
Absolutely. All right. Doesn't look like we have any questions. If you do come up with a question, you can always type it in later. We do go back and look at this, and I get notifications anytime you guys comment or anything. So I do really try to stay as on top of that as humanly possible. And usually Tony and Marie and the other ladies are kind of watching as well. So if you don't think of anything, if you don't have anything right now, but you think of something later, please feel free to type it in the comments or message us or call or come in. Because we love the interaction. It's huge. It keeps us going and growing.
Yeah.
So, all right. Don't forget, we have quilt tickets on sale. Quilt Show, Quilt Fest is what it's called. I'm still thinking of the name. Jacksonville Quilt Fest. Tickets are on sale. It's $15 for general and then $14 for seniors. I think it's 60 and over. If we run out, we'll get more. We're going to run out. So when we run out, we'll get more. But you should definitely get your tickets. It's going to be an amazing show. Talking about art and being creative. Holy cow. You want some inspiration? Go to a quilt show.
For sure.
Seriously.
It should be very fun.
It's $14 is worth just that. Even if you're like, I don't want to buy anything. I'm putting on my blinders. I'm not even going to look at the vendors. Well, you got to come say hi to us. But I promise you, I won't sell you a cabinet if you don't want it.
Okay.
And then last spot for the, I'm trying to do a recap. Last spot for the Mastering IQ retreat. Come pound some flowers with us on the 8th. That's going to be super fun. And then if you'd like, I hope you come and join us. This is going to be really fun. Make a medieval LED torch.
That is just wild.
It's going to be awesome.
Just wild. I can't wait to see everybody
with our torches.
Everybody with their
torches. Oh, we definitely will. It's going to be fun. Art shows are inspiring. Absolutely, Linda, they are. And I see everyone's just saying, be safe. You guys do the same thing. Thanks for hanging out with us and spending the morning with us. It means a lot.
Here.
Yeah. And then, of course, as always, how fitting, live to create.
And be courageous. Do something creative today.
Oh, I love that. Do something creative. Be courageous. I like that. I know we're supposed to stop talking at this point. Tony's going, but that's great. Be courageous. Don't be afraid.
That's right.
I love it. We'll see you guys later. Do be safe. We'll see you soon. Be courageous. That's great.